Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And here we are, part 3, the final day of Jonah and the Big Fish, or Jonah and the Whale, as it is also sometimes known. We know that Jonah had a job. He was one of God's messengers, but he wasn't a very good messenger for God. No. He wasn't really into it. God told him to go somewhere and tell all those people they're evil and they're going to go to hell if they don't change their ways. And Jonah didn't want to do that. Or maybe he was just nervous, so he ran away from God.
Yes.
And that did not work out well.
No, as we read in our first part and second part, he ran away by going on a boat, and the boat was sailing in the opposite direction, and he was saying, oh, everything's wonderful and fine, I've escaped my job.
Phew.
But of course, God always knows, since God is everywhere and knows everything, and God sent a terrible storm to punish him. And of course, the sailors were very scared. And what did Jonah say? Jonah said, well, throw me into the ocean and then everything will be fine.
That's right. If I jump in the ocean, I will drown, God will be happy, and the rest of you sailors will be fine. But when he jumped into the water, or when he was thrown into the water by the sailors, the storm suddenly stopped, as if by magic, as if God had made it stop. Which is exactly what God had done.
Yes.
And then Jonah kind of thought, well, this is okay. Maybe God isn't so angry. I'm okay. The sailors are okay. The boat won't sink. Phew! God is no longer super upset with me. And then God sent his little surprise. Well, not a little, a big surprise.
A big surprise.
A big surprise.
A big giant fish to go and swallow Jonah whole and down into his tummy. And now Jonah is
inside a whale,
knocking on the walls. Hello, somebody let me out. He's been there for 3 days.
3 days.
And all 3 days he's been praying and apologizing and saying, please let me out. I promise I will obey everything you say. Please let me out.
Promising, apologizing, and also saying, wow, it smells bad in here. I'm inside a fishy whale's or a fishy fish's fishy stomach.
Ew.
I don't like this anymore. But you're right. He's thinking the only way to get out is to make sure God is not angry with me. So I will pray, I will promise, I will do anything. Just don't poop me out of this big fish. I want to get out, but not that way. All right, so let's find out what happens to Jonah as he's inside the big fish in part 3 of our story. God heard Jonah. He commanded the big fish to throw him up onto dry land. At once, Jonah went to Nineveh. There he spread the word of God. Jonah told the people to change their evil ways. If they didn't, God would destroy their city in 40 days. Jonah didn't think anyone would listen, though.
Okay, so we are with Jonah and the big fish, and this is part 3.
Yes.
And finally, in the end of part 2, the big fish is here, and Jonah is now inside of the big fish and has been there for 3 days saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I will promise to do whatever you ask me to do. So now we have to figure out, did God hear him? Is God paying attention? Probably.
Or is Jonah just stuck in this big fish forever? Which, of course, would be terrible. But he has been praying like he never prayed before, promising to be the best person in the world and never make God angry. And finally, as we get to today's story, God heard Jonah. So God picked up the phone. He's like, oh, Jonah's praying to me. Oh, yeah, really? You're sorry? You'll never do it again? Okay, all right. So God listens to his prayers. We say God heard his prayers, right? Heard his wishes and his promises and all of that. And so he, being God, he commanded the big fish to throw him up onto dry land. But Jonah, of course, will be safe. He won't drown in the ocean. He is on dry land. which is really just land. When we say dry land, we're saying it like that to make a clear difference between the land and the oceans, the seas, things like that. Often we use this expression when talking about someone being in danger on the ocean, right? Their boat sinks. They spend 3 days in a little boat till finally, look, dry land. We're kind of saying, a place where we will be safe, where we can be rescued, where we are in no more danger of drowning or being eaten by a big fish or something like that. But dry basically means not wet. Okay, so the land, if it's not raining, the land is dry. If you use a towel after your shower and take all the water off your body, you are now dry. And if your throat is dry, it might be hard to talk, so you need a drink of water because having water would be wet, having no water would be dry, and he is safe on dry land or the beach or somewhere that's not the ocean.
Yes, and so, of course, this whole time he has been saying, if you let me out, I will do what you say. Well, he's out now.
Now
so
he has to do it.
As we see in our story, it says, at once, so right away, Jonah went to Nineveh. There, he spread the word of God.
Back on the job.
So yes, so he said, okay, I learned my lesson. Here I go, I'm going to spread the word of God. So we use this verb spread, and spread just means to kind of space something out into a large area. For example, you might say that you take peanut butter on a knife and you spread it thinly all along your bread. But obviously here, we are talking about information. So we are spreading the information, spreading the message. So going from just one person to many people, you are spreading it across the land so everybody knows. And now that you have spread it, hopefully God will be happy and not send a fish to eat you.
There you go. He's telling people the information. He's talking about it. More people know that is what he should be doing. And that's what Jonah did. Jonah told the people to change their evil ways, just like God had told him to a long time ago, before the fish, before the storm, when God first spoke to him in day 1 of our story. If they didn't, this of course is Jonah still spreading God's message. If they, the evil people in Nineveh, if they didn't, God would destroy their city in 40 days. And of course the people there would say, come on, Jonah, that's not gonna happen. God wouldn't do that. And Jonah would say, smell me, I smell like the inside of a fish. God put me there. This is true. If you don't listen, you could end up being thrown up by a fish too, or something even worse, because you don't want God to destroy your city. All right, back to our article. It says, Jonah didn't think anyone would listen though. It is a bit of a crazy story.
Yes.
Even if you leave out the part about I was inside a fish for 3 days because God was angry with me, leave that part out. But even if you came and said, if we don't stop gambling or lying or cheating, God will destroy the city in 40 days. A lot of people go, come on, really? I don't know.
Especially because they might not even know who Jonah is. He came from some other city and just showed up and said, you guys have to change or your city is going to get destroyed. And destroy is a verb that means completely wreck, break, demolish everything. So if you destroy something, you don't just break it, you completely tear it down to the ground and there's nothing really left that can be saved. So it's a much stronger word than just break. If you rip your paper, that's one thing, but if you destroy it, you might have set it on fire and ripped it up a whole bunch and put it in water and it's destroyed. There's no coming back from it.
If something is living, we would kill it. If something is not living, we would destroy it. But basically, it's the same idea. So like an earthquake will come along or a volcano will blow up and cover this. The city will be gone. It will be killed, dead, destroyed. And that would be bad, but people have to start believing Jonah. That will be an interesting challenge we will take on, or Jonah will, after the break. To Jonah's surprise, the people did listen. They changed their evil ways, and they were sincere about it. God saw that and was pleased, so he decided to spare them and Nineveh. So Jonah is back on the job. He's doing what God told him. He's warning people to be good people or their city will be destroyed. And everyone's going, okay, Jonah, we'll do what you say.
Yeah, and actually, Jonah is quite surprised because he is also worried that if he says this, people won't believe him.
Right.
But to Jonah's surprise, the people did listen. So maybe they could smell the fish on him and they were like, oh, this God is serious. So they changed their evil ways and they were sincere about it. Which this last part makes a big difference. To be sincere, it means to be serious and to really care about it with your whole heart. You're not just doing it for no reason, or you're not just doing it so God doesn't destroy your city, and then as soon as the threat is over, you're going to start again.
Right.
No, you're really taking that information in and making a real change, and you're being serious and honest about it. That means to be sincere. So they really did change.
That's right. Yesterday we learned those words apologize and promise. And when you do either of those things, you should be sincere. You should really mean it. And you're not just saying it so the person's happy and they leave you alone or whatever. You should mean it when you say, I will be better, or I'm sorry, this won't happen. You should absolutely mean it. So God saw that and was pleased. In the same way, if someone gives you a sincere promise or a sincere apology, that will mean something to you too. So he, that's God, decided to spare them and Nineveh. The city that they lived in would be okay. The people would be okay. Nothing would be destroyed or killed or anything like that, because God is happy. God is pleased. When you're pleased, yeah, basically you're happy. Things have worked out the way you wanted them to, right? There's been none of the trouble that you were expecting. So you're like, oh, okay, it all worked out. I'm happy. I'm not super excited and, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. No, but you're like satisfied and everything is okay. I am pleased. This is not bad.
Yes, and so he spared their city, and this verb just means to save something from something unpleasant. So in this case, the town, the city was spared and not destroyed. But you could also use it as something like maybe in class, the teacher was choosing different students to answer a question, and you were so nervous and it was kind of scary, but they didn't choose you, so you were spared from having to answer the question and be nervous. So to keep something or save something from doing something that might be unpleasant or getting hurt or something, maybe a fire, and the fire got these few houses, but this house was spared. The fire didn't catch onto that house, so it was saved from the disaster everywhere else.
Yeah, sometimes like with weather and disasters, it's just kind of luck. Other times it could be, I have the power to do something mean to you, but I won't. I feel kind today and generous, so I will spare you. I will save you, even though I could do something terrible. So there you go. If you're ever in trouble, find a big fish, I don't know what the lesson we should learn from this is.
I guess the lesson is maybe listen the first time.
I like
you don't
that.
have to go through all the drama of being in a fish. And you can just listen to the boss the first time.
Yeah, don't run away from your responsibilities, and then you will avoid being inside a fish for 3 days. I think that's a good lesson. Yeah, thanks for that. All right, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Don't get inside any big fish. Stay out of trouble with God. And don't go to Nineveh. It sounds like a dangerous place. Yeah. All right, take care. Bye-bye. God heard Jonah. He commanded the big fish to throw him up onto dry land. At once, Jonah went to Nineveh. There he spread the word of God. Jonah told the people to change their evil ways. If they didn't, God would destroy their city in 40 days. Jonah didn't think anyone would listen, though. To Jonah's surprise, the people did listen. They changed their evil ways, and they were sincere about it. God saw that and was pleased, so he decided to spare them and Nineveh.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 dry 形容词，干燥的。The desert is hot and dry. 沙漠又热又干。下一个单字 spread 动词，传播、散布。它的三态是 spread. The news spread quickly through the town. 这个消息迅速在小镇上传播开来。下一个单字 sincere 形容词，诚心的、真诚的。Ellen gave a sincere apology for her mistake. Ellen 为自己的错误真诚的道歉。Apology 指的就是道歉。最后一个单字 pleased 形容词，满意的、喜悦的。Joe was pleased to see his old friend again. Joe 很高兴再次见到他的老朋友。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 throw up 吐出、呕吐。我们来看看这个例句。Nina felt sick and wanted to throw up. Nina 感到不舒服，想要呕吐。下一个文法 at once 立刻、马上，这是一个副词片语。我们来看看这个例句。The doctor asked Ken to come to the hospital at once. 医生要求 Ken 立刻来医院。最后一个文法 to one's surprise 出乎某人的意料，大多会放在句首并加上逗号哦。Surprise 在这里是一个不可数名词，意思是惊讶、讶异。我们来看看这个例句。To Henry's surprise, the package arrived earlier. 出乎 Henry 的意料，包裹提早到了。以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Here's how to play. The host will be holding 3 cards. Each card will have 2 sentences containing a secret vocabulary word or phrase that has been replaced by the word bear. The host will read the sentences out loud for the contestants to guess. Whoever guesses first gets a point. The person with the most points wins. And you can play along too.
Hello, today we are playing Guess the Bear. I'm Matt.
I'm Kiki.
I'm Josh.
All right, are you guys ready to play?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to begin anyway. Okay, your first one is a verb. Please don't bear me when I'm speaking. A loud sound bared the mayor in the middle of his speech.
Scratch.
Correct. Kiki, that is right. The word is interrupt. So please don't interrupt me when I'm speaking. And a loud sound interrupted the mayor in the middle of his speech. All right, let's move on to round 2. So now we have a noun. Gary goes to the bear to find the latest novels. The bear not only has cookbooks, but magazines as well.
Library.
Bookstore.
Yes, Kiki again, that's 2 for Kiki. So the word is bookstore. Gary goes to the bookstore to find the latest novels, and the bookstore not only has cookbooks, but magazines as well. Okay, last one. This is a 2-word phrase. Going to the gym early was Victor's bear. If you want to learn more, visiting our website is your bear.
Best shot.
Very close.
Good habit. Best bet.
What? Oh. Well, who said? What did you say?
Best bet.
Best bet is the answer. I don't know. I think, were you saying?
I was going to, but...
Okay, so I think Josh got that one. So it's
I got it.
2-1. But let's go over the sentences. Going to the gym early was Victor's best bet. If you want to learn more, visiting our website is your best bet.
Wow.
That's right, man.
Good game.
Good game. Kiki wins.
Yeah, well,
Again.
Again.
yeah, well, I'd rather have a little of something than all or nothing, but that's okay.